Hello, everybody. Welcome to Miss Me. This is a great episode already because Zawe, it's such a good... I don't even know what the term would be, dep or guest or what, I don't know what.
Oh, I thought we were still going with Miss Me side piece or recurring Miss Me character.
I love that. Oh my God, like, yes, sure.
I was actually going to open with, it's 7 o'clock, I'm in my drop top, cruising the streets. Basically,
What are you singing?
I feel like whenever I come on Miss Me, I should do the opening bars of a song about hooking up or being a side piece.
What song was that?
Are we friends? It was Usher.
Oh, sorry. Yes, infamous lover. Sorry. I'm not. R&B is actually not my bag. Weirdly, I like the song Climax.
Yeah, so this podcast's over.
Yeah. So I don't know what it is, man. I think it was just like too much pressure to be sensual. I don't need goading into sensuality. I need to summon it from something darker like Nirvana.
Okay, so you're saying I don't like R&B because I am R&B. I love that. I just love
It's
that.
too much me and
like
R&B.
it.
Do you know what I mean?
Overload.
Like, it's too much, bro. Yeah, bro. It's like I'm already in that vibe. Like, I can't slow it down anymore. And I can't like. Anyway, no, there is some R&B I like. I think actually the Naughties was amazing for R&B because it was pop R&B, like Aaliyah and shit. That's my bag. If you are interested, and I know Usher was about.
Yeah.
But he was.
No, Usher is down there on the list.
That was when like the, what's it? U-turn or something? Yeah. But give it up. And get down with me. It's not hard to learn.
No, that's too far along.
Come on.
That's
It's called
too far
the
along.
U-turn. That was my first. That was like, yeah, this guy's sick. He's teaching me how to dance.
Oh no, I'm having one of those conversations. Okay. Where I'm like, me and this person are the same age.
Yeah.
And then it's suddenly like a little glitch in the matrix. I'm like,
Are we not the same age?
absolutely not.
Were you the same age as Keats?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're 60. That's cool.
It's pushing 62, 3.
No.
Okay, let's not joke because it was my birthday the other day.
Happy 34th birthday, if we're to conform to the regressive ideas of youth in our society.
Exactly. I was like, I'm going to go on there and I'm going to say it was my birthday and then I'm going to get a lump in my throat
No.
saying how old I was. Yeah, because it's ingrained. It's so fucked up. Like, why the shame around saying how many years you've spent living?
Very true. And also things surely get better.
In some ways, yeah. In some ways.
So I haven't actually said, hello, this is Zawe Ashton. Obviously, Zawe's here.
Hi.
Forgot to finish the intro because it's just too natural. It's too organic. I love you, Zawe. I think you're great, and I'm very happy to be speaking with you.
I'm so passionate about you as a human being. I think you know that.
Yeah, but ditto. And I remember the first time. Oh my God! Wait, did we even say this before? When I interviewed you, bruv, this is when you met Loki. Tom. Sorry, Tom. Sorry. Tom.
No, come on. Look. If you've got like an alter ego that's a Norse god, why not reference yourself as such now and again?
You met Loki.
I
was there when you met Loki. So yeah.
You did. You came to my dressing room
yeah.
at the Harold Pinter Theatre when we were doing Betrayal, and we had such an amazing chat for your old podcast.
Yes.
And that is when we first met.
Yes, and then
we kept
in
in
touch. Margate Connection.
The Margate Eden.
And then almost lived with your brother. And
I was trying to basically get him to live.
Oh, sorry.
With
you were trying to force your brother to live with me.
Influence on him. Force is strong, but probably appropriate because I thought you guys would have an amazing artistic.
Yes.
He makes amazing ambient music, and obviously you make music. And you're both artistic, but that didn't happen. But we still had a great time in Margate. We never lived together.
No.
What was I thinking? Why was I foisting my brother on you? I should have been foisting myself on you because I was also looking for accommodation at the time.
Yeah, mad. Well, listen,
That
here
would
we
have
are.
been good.
I mean, you look, I'm loving this kind of dark teal behind you on this bookshelf. That's very satisfying to me. Also, it sitting next to a deep red. And am I wrong in thinking, is that the Sainsbury's in Ladbroke Grove, basically, that you've got on a painting behind you?
No, it's actually, this is painted by my brother. That is the
Isn't that in West London?
Canal as it runs past East.
East?
Keats and I had this moment. She was trying to claim it as a West London painting. It's East. It's just down past London Fields. I think that's right. I was also going to add in about our connective tissue.
Yeah.
About your mum, me and your mum meeting.
Yes.
In Margate.
Yes. Shout out Mumsy.
Without you present.
Yeah.
Shout out Mumsy. Shout out Emma.
Shout out
I was
Emma.
actually going to call her. I wasn't going to call her. I was going to text her before we did this today and be like, I'm seeing Jordan. But anyway, me and your mum are on texting basis.
Legends.
I feel like that's relevant. But we bumped into each other when I was heavily pregnant with my first baby. And she gave me, I think you've mentioned it before, some of the best birthing advice ever of all time, which I don't know if you know what it is.
Of course I do. It's about watermelons.
Yeah. So we were chatting. She was already giving some really lovely kind of...
Unsolicited advice.
Unsolicited, but also beautiful. I was actually someone who enjoyed unsolicited advice during pregnancy. I must have been like the only person. You're like, totes, me too, ditto.
Yeah.
But I was listening on a different frequency because I was so close to the birth.
Right.
And I think that's why I had been like tempted to go back to Margs just to be with the sea and be in my old nostalgic place before going on this massive transitional journey.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were just wrapping up the convo, and as I was literally walking away, she went, and remember, shit a watermelon. Literally as I was walking away. I was like, I wish you'd said that at the beginning of the conversation. I could, because I literally walked away going, I have no idea what she means.
Yeah.
And then as I was like on the train home, like the nugget, like the golden nuggets, like the slot machine, it was just going ding, ding, ding. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
She's saying engage the sphincter whilst birthing, which no one had interestingly said before, but also just the image of the watermelon and the thing was just so evocative. Anyway, cut to, I'm giving birth. I'm having a little bit of a chaotic time of it.
Right.
And your mother's words came to my mind. And that is how my first child was born, with your mother's voice in my head.
She's got to put that on her CV. That is honestly...
But seriously, no one really knows their birth story. This is one of the weirdest things to me in life.
Right.
We're not encouraged, like you get your birth certificate and you're like, bye. And very few of us actually know the circumstances under which we were born.
Yeah.
And it's actually your first chapter. It's actually the first software download on your body. But we're not encouraged to ever know what that is. Like it could lead us to the answers for so many of our coping mechanisms or so many of our physical ways of being and showing up.
Yeah. It's weird you say that. It's weird. Just to confirm your suspicions about knowing your birth story. I once was working with this guy. I was working for a foundation and I met this guy who worked in addiction. And he had he was telling me that he has this new technology that can help people understand the extent to which they're addicts, right? So I think I was in recovery at the time. I just started. I mean, I still am, but I just started. And he was like, you should do the test. You should do this test and we should see if it, I'll show you how it works. And I think it can really help people. So I go to this guy's house, I do the test, and basically it's like a living quiz. So you can't you can't find the right answers and then get to a destination because the next question is dependent on more than one variable of how you've answered the previous question, right? So I did this test and then I got back the picture of it. It was like a big circle with lines and then there was like words around the circle, right? And it would be like belonging and I don't know what it was. Belonging, purpose. I don't know. There's like these big words to do with like our place in the world. And then they went, yep, you have the addict line. And I was like, what? And they're like, you've got the addict line that draws you from belonging to something. And it's like, and if we saw that, this is your point though, if we saw that before, say, a moment of stress where I did then obviously resort to drugs when I was, first famous and shit, they could probably go, you're more at risk, of falling into addiction than someone else.
Wow.
And then the guy asked me, did you have any birth trauma, right? Because he said that often people who become addicts enter into the world with a very small feeling that they shouldn't be there.
Wow.
There's some people, he believes this, by the way, this isn't gospel, but this is what he believes. And I said
I've got goosebumps.
Bizarrely, I did actually have some birth trauma. It's really embarrassing to admit, but this has fucking missed me, so I did. But I'm pretty sure that I actually swallowed my own shit.
Oh my God, me too.
Yeah. Yes.
No freaking way. And wait, and that, because that is traumatic, because you the baby can die from that.
Yes.
And the mum.
Yes. Everyone can fucking die. Yeah. So
is there, do you have a whole picture of the birth story or just that bit?
But the other bit I was told, which my mum kind of denies, right? But I'm pretty sure if I know her, she's denying because it's a half truth, but there's some truth, right? So the main facts about my mum with birth, which is gangster, is no painkillers, right? And obviously you met my mum, quite easy to believe that, to be honest. But Hundo P, this woman was like, let's fucking go. And then the other thing was, she did, however, smoke a spliff. And then she also told me that, and she'll hate me saying that because she's like, no, I fucking did. She did. I think she did. But the reason why it's funnier is because I came silently out of the birth canal. This is another weird thing about me, right? So in spite of me being arguably the noisiest fucker in most rooms, apparently as I left my mother, I was silent.
You were silent.
Yeah. And
I've got goosebumps.
And then I came out, and then once I figured shit out, I probably started screaming. But I definitely didn't come out screaming, typically to how you might see some babies, you know, like freaking out about lights and shit. And then the other funny part, which I'll just throw in there while it's on my mind, is my mum was giving birth. My mum was giving birth at the same time as one of the Boatengs. You know that family?
Yes, I actually do.
So my mum's last name is Bolting, and they picked me up. They misheard the last name and started to pick me up as if to take me to the Boateng family, and my mum had to scream to get them to bring them to bring me back. Yeah.
Okay. This is just it's as someone who's now obsessed with birth stories, that does say Jordan. I mean, I don't even know why I say that, but do you feel that? Are you like, those pieces that I have, like you were saying with the quiz, you know, do you feel like they point to a lot of relevant things to you today?
Look, I don't want to get too deep on stuff because, you know, my parents already have a tough time because I am very transparent, and, you know, in my book, I'm pretty open about my relationship with my parents because I made the decision, which they had to go along with, basically, was that, like, my individual life, my persona, I wasn't going to protect my private life in the same way some other people would, because I really think that the message was more important than the protection of those people, being my mum and dad. But obviously I gave them the book, they read it, they whatever. I said, it's my point of view, you know. So I think the main thing is, there's other little bits like my dad. I'm pretty sure my dad named me because one of his mates, he asked one of his mates what to call his kid. He said Jordan. There's a picture of me screaming in his arms. So I did scream eventually, but someone's taken a Polaroid and he's written Born Singer on it, which is kind of mad.
Stop.
Yeah. I've actually got the Polaroid. Yeah.
These goosebumps are not leaving me.
And then I feel like to answer is that
unbelievable.
My mum and dad have both had their issues. I think that's the concise way of saying it. They've both had their issues. My dad had a few issues in the early part of my life that might have been reflected in me in some ways, which some people would believe is an obvious link. But I do have this thing that is less prevalent in my life now, but I did very much have it in my 20s, where I would have these moments of feeling like genuinely profound existential loneliness. Like, even though I'm good on my own, I would have these bouts that I couldn't really describe, and didn't have a place for until I did that quiz.
That is so deep.
Yeah.
And so what is your relationship to silence?
To silence, well, I'm getting better at being in it, but it's not necessarily been
But it
strong.
feels uncomfortable.
It has done historically for me, yeah. Depends the silence. You know, silence can be loud. It depends on the situation, you know.
But that would make sense to me if you left the birth canal in silence. because of this trauma that happened of the, you know, if you take a shit in your mum's tummy before you're born, basically, that is a kind of small trauma, and the body, your mum's body would have reacted to that. My mum's body would have reacted to that. I can't believe that's one of our
that's wild. So hold on,
we both nearly ate our own.
Is that the like? Are there any more parts of your birth story?
So what's interesting is my mum has always vocalized my birth story. Right. Because I think it helped her process it. So it's actually really healthy for mums to talk about their birth stories, because it sort of fills gaps in a narrative that, because it's kind of high octane at the time, it might have these little spaces in it. Yeah. But also, if you did have a traumatic birth, it can help you just sort of holistically heal from it by narrating it.
Wow.
And that's very healthy, and it's also really healthy for children to know their birth story. So everyone should just be doing this, you know, just as part of their life. Yeah. But I was 3 days of labour, so I'm so there's different pieces that feel like me from that. Holy shit. Endurance. I'm an endurance person, and so is my mum. So that was 3 days of labour. So I was really tired and probably quite stressed by the end. Whoa. Then my mum was in hospital, no pain relief, and I shat myself in my mummy's tum, and then everyone panicked. They said, this baby has to be an emergency cesarean. Right. And that's when I was like, jigs up, guys, it's all good. I'm coming down. Jokes. Joke, 3 days of joke, if you've had enough. And then I came out, you know, vaginally, but then I've only found out this other piece of my birth story more recently, which is that I had the cord around my neck. And it makes literal sense to me that would have happened. The endurance bit, I'm like 3 days of labour. I'm like, yeah. And my mum was like, you came out like you'd done 10 rounds with Muhammad Ali. You're like, you were beaten up.
Zawe, you know what I'm doing.
Call MCs.
Mum, I'm gonna keep this brief, right? But I'm on a podcast right now with your fave, Zawe.
Hi, Emma.
Zawe.
Hi, my angel.
Zawe has just shared with the world your birthing advice, which she thinks has positively affected, like literally, you know, at least a dozen other women, which is, and, you know, and if I know Zawe, these are women of influence. Right.
Beautiful.
But I've tried to recount. Zawe's got an incredible theory, which I think is very, very true. That the more people understand about their birth story, the more they can understand how that's played into their life. Right. So I have tried to recount some funny things I remember about my birth story, or the fact that it came up as like a potential route for addiction, maybe because of like a slight birth trauma. But obviously, who better to talk about my birth story than my mum?
So my intention was to have a natural birth without any painkillers, because I had been led to believe that many, many women throughout time in incredibly uncomfortable and difficult circumstances have still managed to give birth without painkillers, just naturally. And I wanted to honour that. I wanted to honour those women. And I did actually fulfil what I intended to do, which was give birth without any painkillers.
Big up.
And
that is amazing.
You happen to be a little bit more relaxed than I would have hoped. And fell asleep in the my birth canal. And so I had to just push a lot harder than I anticipated, and out you popped.
Wait, okay, but were there also complications during that birth canal?
No.
I thought you.
No, not that I.
I thought you said I swallowed.
You might have pooed yourself in your relaxation. So it was just a matter of clearing your airways a little bit.
So just to clarify, because you've played this down quite considerably. So just to be very clear, the fact you didn't even mention that is hilarious. So just to be very clear, I was relaxed in the. I've shit myself. I've swallowed it, which would have made it even harder for you to push me out. I'm guessing.
Well, no, I mean, nothing is as hard as pushing out a fairly average-sized baby. Sure. Luckily, you weren't enormous. I was visualising you long and thin in order to make it easier for myself. And I think you came out quite well.
And I was quiet, right, when I came out?
You were quiet initially because they had to clear your airways to get...
that's why I was silent, because I had the stuff out. I had the shit in my throat.
Oh, baby Jordan. Baby Jordan.
Sorry about that.
So
that was probably the last time you've talked shit.
Brilliant.
There's nothing like
that's brilliant.
Clearing the shit
early
on your birth.
Clearing the shit early. I mean, I have many people who would disagree with that, but how long was the labour?
So the labour was 13 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
Good. Average.
So, fairly average.
Yeah.
For a first child.
Yeah.
But and my hair looked like I'd backcombed it. Because it was very, very hot, and I was told to stop swearing, in which I ignored.
Of course.
It completely, because I think I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on here.
You are allowed to swear.
Well, I think the word fuck, if you really hang on to it,
it's like spiritual.
Is really good release.
Yeah.
Really good release.
It is.
And I yelled it at the top of my voice. Now, do you want to hear one other thing that happened after your birth?
Yes, please. Zoe's saying yes,
we need to
emphatically.
Hear
that. Okay, so luckily I'm quite on top of things that other people that I don't know are involved in, i.e. the midwife and the nurses around, and they put the wrong name on your wrist.
Yeah, I know, right? And what was the name?
What a thing.
The name was Boateng. And my name is Bolting.
Yeah.
And me and Beverly Boateng gave birth on the same night. And I only know this because I actually went into her antenatal appointment, the only one I had, by mistake, because I thought they'd called Bolting and not Boateng. And it was only when I looked at the notes when the nurse went out to get something that I realised that wasn't me at all. And I then had to go back into reception and wait for my appointment. But that was because I looked at the notes. I wouldn't have known.
That is...
wow.
So I could have been just raised by Boatengs right now.
Yeah.
You could have been in a whole other family, but me being me, who's pretty vigilant and all over everything, which you complain about often, but sometimes it's really helpful that I am all over everything.
That's true, Mum, that's true. I concede.
I saw immediately, one of the first things I checked was your wristband, and I kicked off.
Wow.
Yeah, wow,
like you wouldn't believe. And said to your father, do not let that baby out of your sight. When we were going up to the ward, I went, do not let that baby out of your sight.
Wow. Okay. Wow. And then there's a couple other things that I want to just double check, right? I've actually, to be fair, Mum, just to prove that I listen, if you do listen back to this episode, I actually got most of this right.
You did have this.
So the other two things I want to add. So firstly, my name. What's the story?
Well, I had several names for you.
I know what the names you had, yeah. I named my dog after one of them.
Yeah, Lucky and Sol.
Which, thank God I wasn't called Lucky in Neasden, by the way. Just throwing that up there. Like I would have got battered every day. Thank you. Carry on.
Okay, well, Lucky Dubé is one of the greatest.
Yeah, but Mum, it sounds like you're going to name a dog, mate. Lucky, Spike and Sol.
It's an African name.
Okay, all right, listen, anyway, carry on. Sorry, continue.
Anyway.
I love you.
So then I thought, generously, no, I'm going to give, as you're a boy, I'll give it to your dad.
Yeah.
That pleasure.
Yeah.
And your dad was hanging out with a friend and came back with the name Jordan.
And then lastly, sorry, just to finish this off, which, am I right in thinking that initially too, the doctors didn't believe that I was mixed race? They thought I had jaundice.
Yes. So so they hadn't met Herman. The next shift or the new shift hadn't met Herman. Came in, said, "Oh no, baby's got jaundice." I went, "What?" I went, well, his eyes aren't yellow. And they went, yeah, he's very yellowy skin. And I went, well, yeah, that might be to do with his skin colour. That hasn't quite come in yet. Anyway, so I prevented them giving you any nonsense to do with jaundice, because I know how to recognise jaundice, and I wasn't. And plus the fact, I was dealing with quite a lot in the ward because it was near Holloway Prison.
Yeah, interracial couples weren't the vibe back then. Is that a way to put it?
We were not the vibe.
Okay.
No. But there was a lot going on, because there were sort of women, about to give birth who were handcuffed, in the beds opposite.
Oh God, it's real.
Which I found very disturbing, and I had to go and talk to those women.
Jesus Christ! I did not know. You gave birth opposite in prison. Okay, all right. Yeah. We cut. This is Mum. Thank you so much. By the way,
Emma, thank you.
I love you loads, Mum, and I'm gonna ring you after.
Both of you.
So speak to you in a bit. Bye.
Bless. Epic.
My mum's never been on Miss Me, so thanks for that.
I love that. as an exclusive.
Yeah, she's going to be spiraling after. She's going to be like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I said?
It's a lot. It's a lot to give that just in that way to a public forum. Yeah. But what do you think? Are you not just mental, downloading that going?
You know what's funny is one of the traits I've learned to accept is that I actually have a really good memory. Like generally speaking, because I'm so interested by so many things in life, I think I store a lot of really what some people might consider to be menial or useless information. I just store, which obviously helps me with more important information. So actually the reason I think I remembered so much of it is because she's incrementally told me these stories over years. I remember giving an Air Jordan t-shirt, and then my mum saying, I think you're named after him. That kind of thing. So it's just it was like a quilt. It's like a patchwork quilt of stories, and to have it validated in linear.
But that's what's so good, because I think we all know these little pieces occasionally, but it's when you weave it together as mother and child, I think it is actually a really, really important missing piece just generally in our society. And what I get from what your mum's told and what obviously you remembered is there's this element of fast and slow in your birth, and then this huge moment of what actually is quite existential.
Yes.
Identity crisis.
But also the other part of it is I didn't realise actually until she said that my air pipes were cleared when I was born. That for me, in terms of your theory, that seems to be the most that's the thing that makes most sense to the addict exam, because it's if I've come out unable to breathe,
Interesting.
And I have to have my airways cleared whilst I'm already conscious of being in a whole other dimension. I think that's quite deep.
Yeah.
That's quite deep.
I think that writes something quite powerfully pre-verbal on your constitution, definitely. If you feel this need to scream, that natural first breath, and I actually do have trouble breathing, by the way. I do. So do I. So this is where the cord around the neck thing came for me, because I get panicked if I get out of breath. So doing cardio for me is like a nightmare. I'm just like an old lady on the treadmill, because if my heart rate starts to go up and I start to not be able to breathe, I get really, really panicked. But then I also have this really weird thing where things around my neck are quite comforting. So I have a rockapola neck. In summer, I just love that comfort. But then if it's the wrong type of thing, like a choker, and I've had to wear chokers for work before, when I was doing Fresh Meat, Vod, the character Vod, wore quite a lot of things around her neck, and there would be things that felt very comfortable, like a scarf or a tie, but then anything that's restrictive, I'm in a low key panic zone. Dude.
And also, have you had a role where you've had to be choked or anything like that, or it's been part of the choreography of a scene?
Interesting. I don't think I have, but I would
hate it.
Hate that. I don't think I would be able to do it. But this thing of I think for me, and maybe you're the same, there is this level of somatic healing. And by the way, I know people who've had amazing, hippie, gorgeous water births who are deeply anxious people, and people who've had like hyper-medicalized emergency traumatic births who are very, very sorted. Like, this isn't about like, oh, there's no shame on like anyone's birthing story, but there is so much information there. It's like, it's nuts. And also then when I gave birth to my first, that birth was almost exactly the same as my birth.
Wow.
So I was so glad that I had that information.
No, but that
because
shit trips me out, Zawe. Can I just say?
That is when
like
we
that,
go, epigenetics, where are you haters and doubters? You gotta stop.
The whole history has a strange way of repeating itself. That phrase, like, I will say, I really mean this. That phrase haunts me. Like, and I mean haunting, not necessarily in a negative way, but something will happen in my life. And I'll get this like, oh mate, I'll be like I said, you know what? I'll share this because I tried to share it before, but I don't think I fully did. There was a really odd thing that happened to me recently, where I went to Brazil and I did a men's care summit, right? And I was like part of this, like one of a few or a handful of like festivals around the world dedicated to like exploring masculinity basically and issues, trying to find patterns of issues in various cultures across the globe. And the last time I went to Rio, I was like, it was the most heartbroken I've ever been in my life. It was the lowest point of my life emotionally. I was like, there was a point in this place called Santa Teresa where I was eating food with my uncle and his girlfriend and her sister, and I stepped outside to go on the phone, and I remember just being absolutely like, I didn't know how to get out of what it was I was feeling. And I was stood at the top of this Santa Teresa's up in the mountains, right, in Rio. And I was overlooking this bridge, just like big drop, you know, and I remember having the thought, you know, which I think is like, you know, fairly common. People will have these moments of crisis where I've thought, wow, I mean, that would be a relief, wouldn't it? Like, you know, and it was a low point, right? And I write about it in my book. And what's really weird is in my book, I imagine that I hear a wolf, right? I just say that for the sake of the book, you know, artistic license. Anyway, I do this men's care summit and they go, okay, so we're going to drive up to Santa Teresa. And I was like, you what? And then this summit was 100 meters from that exact spot. And I remember getting shivers and thinking, I don't believe time's linear, right? Like this is why I'm saying this stuff's so trippy. It's like, I think I was already there.
Yeah.
I was already there when I was sad. I was already had built the future where I was helping other people avoid that. So anyway, that's why did I say that? Oh yes, so that whole thing of like
circle of life.
Yeah, like those moments where you're like, that one's probably a bit more like individualistic, but the idea that you're recreating the story of your own birth, like with birthing another, that's like deep shit. Like I feel like it's happening at the same time.
It's deep.
It's happening at the same time.
It's happening at the same time. You know, when you even think of like the factual element of eggs and your mother's eggs having existed in your grandmother. Yeah. So you also have lived inside your grandmother before.
I remember reading that.
That's when we really start to cook. That's when we really start to cook on this.
I can't even deal with that. I can't deal with that.
It's so mad. And then obviously epigenetic stuff is like so real. Like I wish we could talk to every single ancestor. Like what's so weird, what I'm wearing today, right, for me is so weird. Recently I've just been dressing as a French peasant. Don't ask me why. Right. And I don't mean that in a horrible way. I mean, like, it's a pastoral kind of cosplay, okay? And I was like, why? I was like, why is this my vibe? And then actually I went to Makita's event. She did this event at Relic, this vintage shop up West. Yeah. And I was joking with her. She was like, what are you picking out? And I was like, basically, if it's not French peasant, I'm not fucking with it. And we were laughing. And I was like, why am I saying this? Why do I feel like dressing like this? Anyway, I had to go on to Google it. And in like the 1700s, in like pre-revolutionary France, where Queen Marie Antoinette was on the, you know, everyone's obsessed with Marie Antoinette, aren't they? Was on the throne. She just decided that it's like, we're just going to do a fashion switch up and we're just going to all start dressing like farm workers, essentially.
Yeah, right.
And And that's going to be the new thing. And like the like silk business in, I think, places like Lyon was just like crashing. So weird. Okay.
Whoa.
I have French silk weaving ancestors.
No way. It's just, the energy's just in you.
It's almost like, it's weirdly like but I only know that because my dad went really far back and did our family tree. But it's almost like it just came to me one day. I was like, this is how I want to express myself. And when I look back, I'm like, oh, that's actually a blueprint that lives within me, is these French sort of silk bankrupt like silk weavers.
I love it.
Who were sort of being bankrupted by the fact that all these gentrified people suddenly wanted to dress like they had no money, and then the people with actually no money started to really have no money.
That had some variation of resurgence, I'd say, in the last 10 years, when you had like...
I was going to say, like, one of the early examples of like hipsterism. Hello.
Why is this Nepo baby in West London dressed like a drill rapper? I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. This is kind of a low-key offensive moment that I'm witnessing. and actually, I probably, in this cosplaying, I'm also like summoning probably some problematic levels of something. Do you know what a thought just came into my head? Because I looked over there and saw a card that has a cake on it. It was my birthday recently. Mm-hmm. You weren't invited. I'm so sorry. You and Makisa, who both invited me to your birthdays, were not invited because I don't have big birthdays anymore.
You're Hollywood. There's no space. Once you've invited the Gilroy brothers, Jake, Tom, various other Avengers, you know what I mean? Like, then there's no space. There's no space. Literally. You know.
I would love. Let's just keep projecting that idea of me out into the world, so I can actually hide in behind the person I really am.
No.
Which was, I had a tiny Sunday roast with all my family, and that was it.
Which is lovely.
And you guys have like amazing big friendship groups, which I don't have.
No, this is new for me. What you came to on my birthday is new. That's only the second or maybe third year I've done that, because, and I'll tell you why.
Really?
Yes, I'll tell you why. I historically never mentioned my birthday. I used to have to get forced to do something for it. I had an ex who would do surprise things or organise it with Harley because I just wouldn't do or say anything. And then one of my best friends, who always has parties, not just birthday parties, he has end of summer parties, he has Christmas parties, and I'd always be like, why is he always doing this? And then one of his closest friends died. And the last time any of us saw him was one of his parties. And he literally said, that is the reason. Even before that happened, that's why I like bringing people together, because I literally don't know. I don't know, because life's fucking crazy.
If I'm going to see them again.
Life's crazy.
But that's me. See, that's my relationship to birthdays and parties and like events. Yeah. I'm like, let's have a party for the end of the thing. Let's have a party for the beginning of the thing. Let's have a party because we reached the middle. Like, I'm nuts. And I think people in my close orbit actually really struggle. Yeah. So this is I'm the opposite to you. I then have turned it down to one this year. And I've really benefited from that.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
I've bled energy.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. You're in conservation mode. You're recharging.
I'm recharging,
darling. You're recharging.
That's exactly what it is. And I found it for one of the first times, Jay. I was like, I'm really in gratitude, like in quite a deep way. Yeah. And for the first time, that felt good rather than it's not enough.
Yeah.
That's age. That's one of the things that actually does get quite good with age, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that slower way of processing family, friends, beloveds. But I was going to ask what your relationship to cake is.
Oh my God. That is so funny.
I feel like this is like a conversation between a diagnosed and undiagnosed
Yeah. That is fucking hilarious, bruv. What's my relationship to cake? I'm not like, I wouldn't go out of my way to find cake. I enjoy it at birthdays. It was my friend Candice's birthday the other day, and I had a bit of her cake. That was lovely.
Candice Carter-Williams?
Yes.
Yeah, she didn't invite me.
You know what she did? She had a very small dinner with...
Intimate dinner.
Yes. Got ya. And it really was. It was a single table. And she said specifically the same thing as you just said. She just said, I'm just having a small, low-key things with close friends and family. Yeah.
No, because we're very much deep into the star sign thing, so we always kind of send each other stuff around about this time.
Yeah, she's a fucking G, man. She's honestly like one of my favorite people in my life. But yeah, she had some cake at our birthday, and the only other thing I have is because I don't do drugs anymore, hard drugs anymore. I did have a trauma response about like 3 years ago, and I ate cake for a whole day. And I've said to myself, you know what? I said, you know what? I'm letting myself have this. No, you can laugh about it. It was years ago. And I remember it was like basically a friend he triggered like my abandonment wound, not on purpose, but it was like visceral. Like we had a bit of an argument. He kind of stormed out, but he like left abruptly, you know, and I was like, oh wow, he's never coming back, you know, that vibe. And, I could feel it in my body. Like like how I process trauma responses is like I actually start shaking, which is like not usual. So I was like, oh fuck, I'm shaking. And then the next day, I think I went to, is it Hay Festival? It must have been at Hay or something like that, like a book festival. And obviously at those book festivals, they just have cake. They just like exclusively serve cake the whole day. Are you joking me? It's for the nanas and that. Tea and cake is just flying off the shelves, bruv. So I was there like free cake all day, just loading up on cake, literally like constantly going, infinite supply of cake.
And it started with pleasure and then ended with pain.
Yeah, I realized what was happening after maybe the 7th or 8th slice, and was like, I'm actually gonna just let myself have this day. Like I'm fucking doing cake today. I'm doing it today.
Doing cake.
Yeah.
Is there any image that is more tragicomic than someone like eating cake but feeling really conflicted?
I've got nothing else. Zawe, I don't do cocaine anymore. I don't drink. I don't even smoke cigarettes, bruv. I don't even smoke cigarettes.
Look, I ate that fucking cake. No, I'm with you.
I ate that cake.
I'm with you.
And then I stopped.
I think that's what cake has come to represent for me is all of the naughty things that I can't do anymore that are now like getting watered down. I don't know really why I brought it up. I like chocolate cake.
But I need to know, do you go, like this will make me happy to know, do you ever go and buy the cake? Do you buy the chocolate cake, normal?
I buy cake all the time.
Every week?
I buy cake all the time. Day?
Every day, fuck off. You buy a whole chocolate cake every day. Be honest.
Not a whole chocolate
slice.
cake, but
cafe.
maybe a slice. Right. Yeah, there's something that I find really, really deeply comforting about it. And I know people like to bake. I'm not really that.
You're not that person. You want to go to the cafe. So like at the end of Inception.
You want to go to the cafe.
At the end of Inception, you know when he like spins the thing to know if he's in reality or not, like the constant. Yours is just a slice of chocolate cake.
Mine's just a slice of chocolate cake spinning. But also if I don't eat cake on my birthday, I feel like panicked.
Yeah.
Like if I haven't, I literally texted Tom on the way to the meal going, are you bringing the cake? Will there be a cake there?
Meanwhile, he's trying to plan like a really lovely surprise.
You mustn't text me questions like this. And I was like, but why? I have to micromanage this within an inch of its life. Anyway, we were going to talk about auditions. Look, I have my memoir here.
Yeah, oh wow, brilliant.
Because we were also going to talk about auditions.
Yes, you went through some tragic auditions you created a vehicle in which to speak about your life, your relationship with character, and also just a mechanism for you to be a little bit absurd.
Because I need more of those.
You need more of those moments for you to be fucking wacky.
I need a lot more of those. To be fair. No, it's good. Well, because basically you're an actor, aren't you? And you're a really good actor. You're a good actor. Do you think of yourself as an actor?
No.
Just what an actor would do.
No, I don't. Oh. No, but Zawe, I'll tell you what. Okay, you're right. I've never been able to voice this properly, and I'm going to explain because people get fucking pissed off at me, especially my friends who act, right? Because of some of the things I've done. And also, I have acted competently in certain roles that I am proud of, a film called Tucked, Feel Good as a guest lead. Like, I'm really proud of these stuff I've been
a lead at the Young Vic in a very classic
Entertaining Mr.
play.
Sloan.
Joe Orton, yes.
I love acting for these reasons. I get to meet new people, I have new experiences, I go to new places. That's ultimately why I still do it. And when I do get to eat something, then I do feel this kind of sense of brief escape from my world. However, I lived with a very good actor for a year and a half, and I dated an actor for 2 years. And when people are like just actors, right? And that's not in a reductive sense. They just happen to only act as their, as their main kind of.
Yeah.
It's just a different breed, bro. I like, from my perspective, in other things like music, if I get a book, right, I'll read a book and I'll think, oh, that book's incredible. I've got my own way of saying that. Like, I feel like I can match something in my own way. Oh, I could write about that bit in my own way. With acting, nowadays, I'll get an audition through, I'll read it and I'll be like, I literally can't do that. Like, there's no other real thing I'm involved in where I have that immediate thought where I'm like, I actually have no interest in even trying to do that. Like, and I've become incredibly cynical about the industry because of my experiences in it. And for me, there's a lot of falsity which is which is baked into the experience of it, which I personally am too thin-skinned to deal with. I literally I'll admit that I am too sensitive. I'm too I can't do this in-out thing. I can't do this. Like, I got a phone call, for example, like, I've been keeping my head low with acting really. After Sloan, I've not really done anything. And that was tough doing that play. I got a call, director's meet, straight director's meet. And I'm like, wow, amazing. I mean, I did do a lead in a play, maybe, blah, blah, blah. And on one day it was like, are you free on this month? This is how much fun, is how much fun we're going to have. This is who you're acting opposite. Yeah. 4 days later, you didn't get the part, right? What's mad to me is I literally would rather have not had the first phone. I'm not bothered. Like, I don't need it to enter into my life. All I did was spend 4 days fantasizing about spending a month and acting opposite an incredible actor and now I'm disappointed. Why?
It's a hellish industry because we're all so fragile. The thin skin thing, I don't think that's just you. I think that is literally every actor. In fact, I think it's like a requirement.
Thin-skinned? Nah. But Ashley Walters said to me, when I described my feelings about like auditions and that, he was like, yeah, maybe not built for it. Genuinely. In the nicest way. I love Ashley. He's like he's a G. Also, Daniel Kaluuya, same thing, famously just doesn't attach himself to auditions.
So in motherhood, right, wonderful writers that talk about the active motherhood and like the industry of motherhood, right? And the industry of motherhood is terrible. And that's what's going to mess you up and make you afraid and make you feel shameful. And, whereas the active motherhood is actually quite different. And I think acting is similar. Acting is a very pure thing. It's ancient, and if we had like more, if we had more information, we have obviously a lot of information on how the Greeks did it, right? But also like African art, African acting, African theatre before, the Westerners came over and kind of put the proscenium arch around it. Was it just about community? It was about storytelling. It was about problem solving. It was jazz, basically. It was like call and answer. As an actor, you were there as this vessel for your community, and you posed a question and waited for the community to answer, and then you kind of worked out how to live with each other, and that's beautiful. And then you put a proscenium arch around it and go, oh, actually, no, this is a presentation of something. This is about people who are winning and losing up there. Yeah. And it changes completely.
Yeah. No,
So I think the thin skin propels you into the act of acting because every single actor is kind of traumatized. We have to look at all their birth stories and we would understand why they're there. But I think that gets you into doing it. And then if you're going to be in the industry of it or like in the fame of it, then you do need different mechanisms.
But, okay, Zawe, look. Okay, let me just rein this in.
And you know that better than anyone for your music.
You are unusual in this respect, Zawe. Like you act, but you also have a vested interest in writing, in producing, in whatever, right? You actively have a creative mind that transcends sounds wanky, but that extends beyond simply the art form of where's this character? Okay, now I'm going to engage in a creative process, right? in my experience, when I talk about acting, just for the sake of like, am I an actor? Yes, I can act, but an actor, right? I have found very difficult to access people like that in that space. And that's why I find that actors often end up dating actors, because there is quite a unique connection in the joint understanding that their actual life is quite floaty. Because it almost has to be a little bit floaty, because that prepares you to embody characters. Like, I got the audition through to play Bob Marley, right? This is when I had dreadlocks, right? And like, it seems like a no-brainer for me to go for that, right? People say you look like him, whatever. Listen, Zawe, I've looked at that script, and when I literally don't have the energy or capacity to even, like, if I even did, which I knew I wouldn't, by the way, which is another reason I said no, was if I even got my shit together, learnt the songs, whatever, I knew that like the lengths I would have to go to embody that character. Like, me personally, I don't think I actually have the energy or capacity.
Audition rooms are very, very weird places to be. They are airless, strange spaces where you're basically asking strangers for this unconditional love that you can't even give to yourself, because 9 times out of 10, because you're in this liminal space between getting something and not getting something, you're already feeling just like you're treading this line between like pompous, like self, like whatever, aggrandizing, and then self-hate. You can be shit at auditions and be a good actor. That's the thing. They're spaces that only I guess like you're saying, only few people are really good at. I'm notoriously terrible at them, but also I've had some terrible ones. So my worst one I've written about in my book is called Character Breakdown, because the breakdown of the characters that you're usually auditioning for are already so unbelievably two-dimensional and shit. You know, it's like Serena, like scientist in space. 30s to 40s. Like
what is that? What are you talking about?
What the fuck is that? And so already you're kind of in this reductive space. Anyway, whatever. Just one of my worst auditions ever of all time. Actually, there's 2. One is when I had to dance through time.
Yeah. No. I'm actually going to pretend you didn't say that. That's how preposterous that is. I can't even get my head around you saying that. I went
in. It was for a Broadway play about a woman who was kind of like into 1920s jazz or something and used to imagine herself in those scenarios. And I went in and they were like, yeah, like read the script or whatever, like read bits from the script. And they were like really traumatic bits of the script. There was a woman who like had abuse in her past and stuff. I was like, okay. And it was like sad, and like the atmosphere in the room was sad, and people were like quite like staring at me quite intensely and going like, go deeper, you know. And I was like, this is really, feels really fucked up, and I just can't wait to leave. I'm just gonna leave as soon as I can. And then I did, and as I put my hand on the doorknob to leave, I heard music playing. And I was like, am I transitioning to another realm? And it was like 1920s jazz. And I turn around and literally the director was there going, come on. Literally you couldn't. It's like people parody this in films.
But it's real.
Dance for me.
Yeah.
Dance for me. Dance for me. And I was like, I've died somehow between the chair and the door, and this is my route down to hell.
No.
And you have to do it. No. And so I just started like swaying to this 1920s jazz, and then suddenly like we're in the 30s and it's gone all like a little bit like flappery. Then we're in the 40s and it's suddenly like 50s doo-wop. I was like, Jordan, I'm dancing. I'm dancing through time. No. It's not clear why this is relevant to the thing, apart from this woman who just likes music in the play. I danced from the 1920s up to the early 2000s. And it was the most humiliating thing I've ever had to do in my life. Okay, so that's my worst audition story. And then sometimes there are terrible auditions where you haven't read fully on the email what the audition is, which I did once again for another play. And I read the scenes and I was like, that went okay, whatever, time to go. And they were like, and your song?
Yeah, no.
The words no actor wants to hear in the audition.
And your song is like, fucking crazy.
You don't want to hear it?
Yeah, I think it's leave right now.
And I was like, I've missed a bit on the email. And they were like, if you could just, it was like a play about like a sad woman. And they were like, if you could just sing to this potted plant.
No.
And you're singing to the plant. I had prepared nothing. And so the longest 2 minutes of one of the longest 2 minutes of my life was the only song that popped into my head, because I obviously had to make up the fact that I prepared a song, was a Damien Rice song.
Brilliant.
It was Cannonball.
Obviously.
In another universe, on another timeline, there is me still singing on a loop this Damien Rice's Cannonball to a succulent plant on a desk in an airless room.
Fuck yeah. I know that's right.
But then also, one of the reasons why I wanted to stop acting, and this will be prevalent to one of you in Keats's chats, right, was sometimes you get character breakdowns like this, which are dangerous and problematic and hell and shouldn't exist. And this was one of the last character breakdowns I read before I moved to Margate and decided I was going to stop acting. Literal, genuine one. The character you would be playing is murdered. Before that, she will be seen topless in one scene where she is acting in a porn film. So you must be comfortable simulating sex for this scene. You will need to be prepared to expose all on set in order to make it work. You would need to be completely happy to simulate sex, kiss, simulate groping, simulate being groped. Oh. She will then be seen naked on a mortuary slab in another scene, full nudity required.
And
that's when I quit acting.
And that was the end scene. I mean, listen, I've got traumatic audition stories, but the one that just sprung to mind when you said that was, what my biggest role, I guess, based off of like viewership, was I play a small part in Star Wars Rogue One, which amongst Star Wars fans is considered the best spin-off standalone film. I got randomly put in it, no audition, by the way. So bear in mind that I have spent days sometimes preparing for like a guest part in a BBC Three comedy, no disrespect. And then I get asked to just turn up on a Friday. And I felt like it was a prank. But hilariously, after the fact, right, there's now a spin-off series called Andor, right? And Andor's super popular. A lot of people say it's fucking dope. My friend Faye is in it. And they were like, hit me up one day, listen, we're almost up to the events of Rogue One, so we're going to get the team back together. Like, one of the soldiers was already a big character in the show. And are you free for a day shoot? Right? And I was like, fuck yeah. Do you mean everyone said Andor's a vibe? You know what I mean? Like, let's fucking do this shit. And they're like, cool, just send us your picture of your 360 picture of you. So send them a picture. At the time I had dreadlocks, right, from lockdown. They've come back and been like, yeah, so we're all good for you to come. You just need to cut off your locks. And I was like, so what? And they're like, well, you just got to cut off your locks because this is the bit that kills me, right? So just before I say this last bit, just bear in mind, I have a helmet on the entire way through Rogue One, right? So there's not even like there's a continuity with my character later on because you literally never see my hair. So then I was like, guys, I'm just saying, like, as much as I want to be part of Andor, like, I've grown these locks for like 3 years. I'm not going to just cut them off for a day shoot. And they were like, oh, that's a real shame. It's just, you know, we're doing army drills and we're not sure that, like, if you had long hair, it'd be realistic. They said in a film that ultimately ends up with people fighting a giant slug, apparently... it's
actually the dreadlocks that are really out there in terms of the imaginative space.
Like, we have literal people fighting with light lasers, right? Using telekinesis to fend off their enemies, and a man with dreadlocks in the army is like, no. Why, no. We're
weird.
in an absurd space now. This is just not believable. This is just not believable.
We haven't got time to do it now, but there, in terms of, like, we have a whole conversation to have about Afrofuturism and the life that it has, and actually how when I played a baddie in a Marvel film, like a biracial alien.
Wait, what the fuck? What do you mean? Which film? Oh my God, I'm being a prick. Which one is it?
It's the one that no one watched.
Which one?
It's called The Marvels.
Yes, I
and
did
it was
not watch The
was a
Marvels.
multicultural, all-female cast, and ended up coming out in that actors' strike where you weren't allowed to promote anything. So we had like a world tour that got cancelled, and I was like, no, not the multicultural female film, being the one that everyone disses and says didn't make any money. Of all of them, please, not this one. And unfortunately, it was that. And there was a lot of like, we told you it wouldn't work. Again,
mate, sorry.
Warriors.
Sorry, I know we need to end. Sorry, Nat, I'm aware. I'm sorry. But I'm just going to say, can I just say this for all listeners? You fought Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is one of the fucking most powerful motherfuckers in the universe.
Powerful. Thank you.
You could actually fuck up Loki. I'm not even kidding. You could actually...
There's a time surely where that's got to happen.
No, this is insane. Wait, hold on. Wait, Dar-Ben went toe-to-toe with Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel fought Thanos. You could fuck up Thanos, mate, for a bit if he doesn't have all the rings. Or you could fuck him up. All the stones. Okay, look, we're gonna go. Dar-Ben, it's been emotional. We're gonna go and talk about time. I'm gonna go and tell everyone that I've chatted to a powerful overlord that could fuck you up. Right? Later,
my darling.
Thanks for listening to Miss Me. This is a Persephonica show.